Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on Kevin Ali's YouTube channel, trying to get the lighting right here. Looks real dark. Can you hear me, bro? You're sounding real. You sound real. You sound real jittery and robotic. I can barely make you out. Still sounds real jittery. Think you might need to reboot your laptop or? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are just getting everything set up on the live side on my YouTube channel. Welcome in tonight. We are going to be talking with Brother Fahim of the MGC Network, 5% Nation of Islam. So we are just getting things all set up. I want to thank everybody for joining in as you come in. And my live channel, we're going to be sponsored by a natural health solution that can really make a difference in your life, make a difference in your health. All natural, reactivate the body's own internal natural healing system, your own stem cells reactivated again. And we can also save you tons of money on your monthly cable or satellite bill. So welcome in, everybody. We're going to be getting started in a few minutes. Yeah, same thing. You want to reboot your laptop and try to start it again? I can't make you out at all now. I was in tech support, bro. The first thing you try is you try a quick reboot. That's what we used to tell all the people who call in with issues. All right. Yeah, we're trying to make sure the brother he doesn't do his broadcast live. He's gonna edit this and film it later. But we wanted to welcome you into the broadcast tonight. I'm Minister Kevin Ali. We're going to be joining Brother Fahim or in his of the MGC Network. We're going to be talking tonight about the theology of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, getting to know one another. But I just want to tell you a little bit about the company that I'm involved with that can really make a difference in your natural health, really make a difference in your bank account. It is an all-natural stem cell activation patch. If you can see it right on my wrist, it's right there. There's no drugs, no chemicals, nothing is soaking into your skin. And all it does is reflect natural light and gives the body the natural ability to renew itself. Great for discomfort in the body, wound healing, recovery from exercise. I can't go into all the claims because we don't want to break any medical laws. We are not medical doctors, but let me tell you, I've been using these patches for a year and a half. At 62 years of age, I'll be 63 in a couple of weeks. I can do a deep knee bend squat. I do high intensity aerobics. I do kickboxing, kicking over my head. I had issues with knee problems where I couldn't bend my knees more than a 90-degree angle. I couldn't bend them because of the effects of aging. Started using these natural stem cell activation patches a year and a half ago. Phenomenal results. We have partners all over the world, all over the country who are getting phenomenal results from these natural stem cell activation patches. Give us a call at area code 218-673-1517 to get more information. Area code 218-673-1517 to get more information. They're very cost affordable, about $3.33 a day. I'm not on any medication. I'm not under any medical conditions. I'm not taking any prescription drugs. My wife isn't either. My mother-in-law, 80 years old, she is using these patches, having a phenomenal present. She used to be on blood pressure medication. She used to be on diabetes medication. She was able to get off those once her levels had normalized. Does absolutely phenomenal things. You can reach us. You can also reach out to me at my email address, rkevinali, the number 2, rkevinali, the number 2 at gmail.com. You can also call us, no cost, no obligation, area code 218-673-1517. Hey, we can also save you tons of money on your cable or satellite bill. Some of you guys out there paying $100, $200 a month for cable and satellite. We can get that down to $25 and get you more of the channels, more of the movies, all of the pay-per-views, all of the sports packages, everything you want. You do have to have a Fire Stick or a Chromecast or another Android device. If you don't already have one, we can help you acquire one. If you already have one, we can talk you through how to get this on. We can give you a 24-hour free tryout of this service. All you need is high-speed internet. So we're going to see if we can log back in with the brother so we can get it started and get tonight's conversation started. But just wanted to give you a little commercial public service announcement of some of the businesses that we're involved in. Also, my wife does... what do you call that? Search engine optimization. She can help you and your business really get out there and reach more of the type of customers that you want to reach. We are doing this thing. We're taking the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mantra of doing for self and doing our best to now put that into action. I see YK Willie said hi and came in. Hello, we wanted to give you a shout out. We're just waiting for our brother Fahim to get his stream up so that we can join and enter the conversation. He was having a little bit of a technical difficulty a second ago, but hopefully he will get that resolved on his reboot. Give me 1 second. I'm going to step away for 1 second so that I can get some water. I forgot to get some water. We'll be right back. We will be live with Brother Fahim of the MGC Network in just a few minutes.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know, brother, can you hear me?
Are you back up, brother?
Sound a little better?
No, I'm still hearing that jitter. As the brother's having just a little minor technical difficulties. Don't worry. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going to start this conversation as soon as he gets these sorted out. Again, the natural stem cell activation patches, we're not trying to say that it heals or cures any particular disease, but people have been getting tremendous results on improving their health. My mother-in-law had a finger that was literally dying. As a diabetic at that time, she cut her fingernail too close and it got infected and it literally started dying. And the doctor was preparing her to lose that first digit. Finger was turning black and brown. Capillary refill wasn't good. The circulation wasn't good in that tip of that finger. Started using the patches within about 2 to 3 weeks. She went back for her next visit, and the doctor couldn't tell which finger it was that they thought they needed to amputate. Again, I've had issues with lower back discomfort due to multiple car accidents. Those multiple car accidents caused me to have discomfort in my lower back. Started using the patches within less than 30 days. That discomfort had literally disappeared. Same thing with the flexibility and the range of motion in my knees. That flexibility, that range of motion completely improved where I can do a matter of fact, here it is right now. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm in a deep squat right now, like a catcher at 62 years old. What 62-year-old man do you know that can do something like that? Very, very few. So we got the brother back on again. Hopefully we got the technical issues resolved. I'm just talking to my audience here, Brother Fahim, on the live side. I'm still hearing you jittery. Say something. Can you hear me? What's your Wi-Fi signal looking like? I can barely understand you. What's your Wi-Fi signal look like? When's the last time you rebooted your internet router? Looks like we got 6, 8 people live. Welcome in, welcome in. We're just waiting out some minor technical issues on our host side, but we're confident that he'll resolve those ASAP. What kind of speed are you getting to your laptop? If you go to speedtest.net, you can see what kind of speed you're getting from your laptop to your router to the internet. You're jittery. That, in general, that used to tell me with people that work from home, that would tell me that their data packets were dropping, so I would have them reboot their laptop and have them reboot their internet router. Again, you want to know more about those natural health natural light body activating patches, give us a call, area code 218-673-1517. You want to save some money on your cable and satellite bill. Some of you are paying $100, $150, $200. Back in my day, I'm 62. Back in my day, that was a car payment. That's way too much for television. And you're still not getting all the channels and cable TV and the news channels and the weather channels and the pay-per-views and the movies. You're still not getting all that. We can get you everything. I was able to. I've been using the service for a year. I watched the Clarissa. What is that sister's name? The female boxer. I don't know how I feel about female boxing, but I watched it. I saw that the other night from Detroit on the service. So you get all the pay-per-views, get all the sports packages. I'm not gonna say what they are, but you get them all. Football, basketball. I don't know how many of you out there watch hockey. Major League Baseball. I saw every event in the Olympics, not just the NBC broadcast. I saw all the events whenever I wanted to. For some reason, I was enthralled by curling. I don't know why. It was a bunch of devils sliding rocks on ice. Imagine that maybe they invented that up in the caves and hillsides. But I was fascinated by curling for some reason. Hey, I was able to see it all. So if you want to see it all for a fraction of the cost, we can get you a free, no obligation 24-hour trial to see how the service works. Give us a call, area code 218-673-1517. Are you able to pull up speedtest.net and see what kind of speed you're getting? There may be ISP issues going on. Well, you're in Georgia. I'm thinking up north they got all that snow. I can't understand you. I would reboot my router. It can't hurt.
Yeah, I'm probably, if this doesn't work right now, then I'm probably going to do that real quick. Let me just jump back on.
Did you are you able to get to that website speedtest.net? It'll give you an idea what kind of internet speed you're getting, because if your internet speed is slow, that would lead to latency and latency issues and packet loss. Your brother used to be an IT professional, almost 25 years in IT. My wife and I, we are into the natural health section. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us how to eat to live, but it's not just eating alone, especially in this time, that it's not just the eating alone, but it's the ability to help the body repair itself. Our bodies are under constant assault from the foods that we eat, no matter how clean you think they are, from the air that we breathe, from the water and the fluids that we drink. Our bodies are under constant assault. And much like fasting, which increases the body's own natural healing system, where the body's able to go in and clean itself up, these natural stem cell activating patches do the same thing. They encourage the body to clean itself up, eliminate the dead cells, slough off the dead cells, and put the body into what is known as autophagy. That is where the amoeba-like structures in the body go and eat the dead matter and the dying matter, and that basically gives the body an internal cleansing. You can do this by fasting. You can enhance this with the use of these natural stem cell activation patches. If you want to know more about it, jot down the number, area code 218-673-1517. And again, we can save you a bunch of money on your cable or satellite bills. And not to mention what my wife is able to do with, what's it called again, dear? And SEO stands for search engine optimization. Getting more traffic driven to your websites, getting more customers driven to your websites, getting more followers, getting more likes, getting more views, whatever you're interested in, we can consult with you to get those numbers up on your social media platforms. And if you're not utilizing social media platforms in today's business, you are way behind and you will soon be out of business. Social media, that is where the eyeballs of the young are. It's no longer on TV and radio. That's where old folks like me are at, TV and radio. The eyes of the young are on the social media platform. So you have to optimize those key elements of your social media to get more views, to get more customers, to take those customers and turn them into clients, to turn those clients into sales, to get your product, your service, your idea out there. You need more eyeballs. If you're not doing search engine optimization, you are way behind the curve. I think I need a light in the background. I just moved to this room, moved my equipment to this room. So it doesn't look too bad from this side, but the other way it looks a little bit dark. Sir? I can hear you, but again, it's jittery. I can't understand you. I would reboot my router. And for those of you out there, if you guys have ever noticed you're having technical issues, the first thing you want to do, especially if you're on the internet, which of course I guess everybody's on the internet, go to speedtest.net and check your speed first. See what kind of speed you're getting. Are you getting the speed that you're supposed to be getting from your internet service provider? If you are, then reboot your PC or your laptop. Make sure you have a good Wi-Fi signal. If you're still getting issues after you reboot your PC and your laptop, it might be time for you to reboot your router, especially if you haven't done it in a while. The way you reboot your router, some have power buttons on it. Doesn't need a power button. You want to unplug the router for 30 to 60 seconds. Wait 30 to 60 seconds, plug it back in. It'll boot back up. Usually takes about 4 or 5 minutes to fully boot back up. And then usually that resolves your issue. If you're still having an issue after that, you are having an internet service provider issue. And there's not a whole lot you can do except to contact your internet service provider. But again, I want to talk about these natural body activation patches. We can't say that they heal the body, but we can say that they resolve and help the body correct and reactivate its own natural internal healing system. Your natural internal healing system are what is known as your stem cells. Every cell in your body actually starts out as a stem cell. Stem cells then differentiate into whatever cell the body needs. A skin cell, an eye cell, a nerve cell, a brain cell, a lung cell, whatever. Stem cells make up the tissues and organs in your body. But this is something that I did not know. Did you guys know that by the age of 30, 50% of your stem cell activity has gone dormant? What that means is your body's ability to repair itself, by the time you're age 30, half of that ability to repair itself has gone dormant. By the time you're 60 like me, 90% of your stem cell activity has gone dormant. This is why we begin to feel the effects of aging much quicker, because our stem cells are not there repairing the body like they normally do. I don't want to get too scientific on this, but there's two ways you can have new cells. New cells can either duplicate themselves, or new cells can spring up from a root cell or a stem cell. If the cells duplicate themselves, well, they're just making a bad copy off of a bad copy. Have you ever done that before? Take a copy, you make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and after a while, the copy starts to get fuzzy, it starts to get crooked, it starts to get out of whack. This is what happens with your cells when they are just copying themselves. The natural stem cell activation patches tell the body it resets 4,000 genes. And those reset genes tell the body, no, don't make a copy of that old damaged cell. Make a brand new cell from a stem cell. And those are stem cells because when we were babies, we had millions of stem cells. Babies have millions of stem cells. And if those of you who had a baby recently or a grandchild recently, your doctor probably said to the woman, hey, do you want to save your baby's umbilical cord? Well, why'd they ask that? Because in that umbilical cord are millions of stem cells. So whereas that baby had a problem down the road, they could harvest those stem cells and save the baby from a potential deleterious issue or disease down the road. Now, if you don't save your stem cells, guess what they do with them stem cells? They take that placenta, they take that umbilical cord, and the doctors then, or the hospital then sells it to pharmaceutical companies who then take those stem cells and harvest those stem cells for use in somebody else. Now, wouldn't it make sense if we could activate our own body's internal repair system? See, those stem cells, that's what we call stem cell injections. Stem cell injections are very risky, even if you get the stem cells from your own body. It's very risky. There's a risk of infection. There's the risk of swelling. There's all kinds of risks with getting stem cell injections. Perhaps you remember when Kobe Bryant had issues with his knees a number of years ago. He got stem cell injections in his knees. It cost him $250,000 per injection, and there's no guarantee those injections work. You have to pay that fee whether the injections work or not. And guess what? Most insurances do not pay for those stem cell injections. And for those stem cells that are harvested from fetal tissue, I believe that is still illegal in the United States of America. Well, it makes a whole lot more sense to reactivate the body's own internal repair system, where you can have the body's own repair system, your stem cells, reactivated again, regardless of what your age is. So, what? You want your stem cells dormant? You don't want your stem cells functioning at 100%. If you want your stem cells functioning at 100%, which makes the body recover faster, which takes away the aches and pains, which leads to more restful sleep. If you want your body's stem cells to reactivate, well, go on and give us a call at area code 218-673-1517. We can also save you tons of money on your cable bill as well. I think we got Brother Fahim back, but hopefully we got everything resolved. I can understand you a little bit, but it's very jittery. Did you reboot your router?
Yeah, I just did. And I'm looking at the mic thing now, and I noticed it. So, like, when I speak, I see the thing, like, feeding back. So I thought this guy phones to Ocho. And I couldn't look at the icons. See the thing showing my voice now, speaking.
You might be having internet service provider issues. What kind of speed are you getting on speedtest.net? Do you see what kind of speed you're getting if you go to speedtest.net? Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi at home. I'll go to speedtest.net and I'm getting, what am I getting? I'm getting 100, I'm getting 500 down, 500 megabits down, and Let's see how much upload I'm getting. And I'm getting 170 up. You might be having internet service provider issues. Once again, those of you who joined us, we're trying to get on the line with Brother Fahim of the MGC Network and the 5% Nation of Islam. We're trying to have a conversation this evening. In the meantime, I've been talking about the natural body activation technology that we've become involved with. My wife and I became involved with this company, found out about this product a little more than a year and a half ago. You use the patches. Here it is right here. The way you just put it on your skin, you peel it, it's like a Band-Aid, you stick it on. There's nothing soaking into your body. There's no drugs, no chemicals, no nothing in this patch that's going through your skin. The only thing that's going into your body is the patches have a natural salt and sugar-based crystal lattice that reflects natural light into your body. And that natural light, in conjunction with the body's acupuncture and acupressure points, it stimulates the body to reactivate its own internal repair system. Now, for those of you saying, this is just super fantastic information. Well, I want you to think back 50 or 60 years ago when acupuncture first came on the scene. And acupuncture was called super fantastic. Well, you're going to stick needles in the body and that's going to help the body's natural energy flow and natural repair system. I don't believe that. Well, now, and in the traditional medical professionals called acupuncture 60 years ago, they called it quackery because it was competition for them. Well, now medical professionals are suggesting to their patients, instead of getting on those deleterious opioids, to go and use acupuncture, sticking needles. Well, a lot of y'all don't like needles. Well, this is even better than a needle because nothing sticks into your body. Nothing goes into your body, and you wear it for the way you wear it for 12 hours, and then you peel it off for 12 hours and throw it away. Wait 12 hours, put another one on. My wife and I never miss a day because we want to keep our natural level of stem cells high, because those stem cells are doing a work in the body. But we also want to properly hydrate. You want to drink plenty of water. Not Coca-Cola. Right now, I got lemon water. You don't want to drink soft drinks, sugary drinks. No. You want to drink plenty of good water, good quality water, spring water, mineral water, reverse osmosis water. What do you call it? Not the what do you call it, dear? Not the acidic water. What's the other one? Alkaline water. You want to drink the alkaline water. This is good quality hydration. That helps the body and helps the stem cells move around the body better. The stem cells are born in your bone marrow. And then they go through the circulatory system. And the body will send out certain messages saying, hey, there's an issue here. There's damage. There's inflammation. There's disease here. And it will send a signal, and the stem cells react to that signal. They crawl out of your circulatory system and start crawling through the tissues. Well, the best way for the cells, you remember those science movies of the amoeba running around? That's what the stem cells move like. Well, they move through your body much easier if your body is hydrated, if your body is wet. If your body is dry like a piece of wood, hard for stem cells to crawl through that. But if it's nice and wet, nice and moist, it can crawl through the tissues and get to the issue. And you also have to have good balanced nutrition. If you're low in minerals, especially copper, magnesium, and all those other minerals, if you're low in minerals, You want to be able to give the body as much as it can work with to begin naturally healing. And you also want to improve your diet. I'll be 63 years old in a couple of weeks in March. I have not eaten pork. I have not eaten beef. I have not eaten any land meats, anything with a face. I have not eaten in almost, listen, what year was that? 88? How long ago was 88? Haven't eaten it in all that time. The only meat that I do eat is a little bit of fish. Certain types of fish. Salmon, whiting, flounder, perch, certain types of fish. And when I say that is maybe 2 or 3 times a month. Maybe. I had a little small cube of salmon last night that I put in my salad. And I can't even remember the last time I had any fish prior to that. I think, I know when. February 16th. February 16th was my mother-in-law's birthday. Oh, that's much better. What'd you do?
Sound better now?
Yeah, sounds much better.
I don't know what I did, but I just looked at it. Yeah, I don't know what I did, but I just looked at it again, and I'm like, man, I don't understand why you can't hear me. I'm like, I looked at the right thing. Listen, even high, like, so I'm like, so let me just try again, and maybe we just gonna have to do it again. But yeah, like, it's reading. I'm like, what? I'm going with the speed, but I don't know what the hell is going on.
You might, like I said, you might be having an internet. You might be having an internet service provider issue. Who is your ISP?
Yeah.
They might be.
T-Mobile.
They might be having some traffic issues. Is T-Mobile a fiber connection, or is it one of them wireless deals that go to connect to the 5G?
I think it connects to the 5G, but don't give me the line. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it connects to the 5G thing.
Gotcha.
I remember he was mentioning that when I went there, something about the new system. When I first got it, they were mentioning that.
Yeah, it's much better. I can at least.
I just want to say, man, everything is really good. I don't understand what the hell is going on. This never happened before, All right, well, we can go ahead on. Yeah, before we start real quick, let me just make sure I got all of your slides in the air real quick, ready to shoot up one by one.
Yeah, and I didn't have time to really vet those slides. I mean, to really see which ones I really would need. I just kind of sent you a whole bunch of them at once. We probably won't even refer to them all.
Right. Yeah, a whole lot of them in here because you sent me quite a bit. But I think this was like the first one right here.
And ladies and gentlemen, to the live audience.
Yeah, I think that was.
Okay.
I think I was asking you too about did you want to keep 7 Shabbats, like his wording, because I could have popped it out if you needed just a picture. I didn't know, wasn't really sure about that.
It's not a big deal that he has that his words in there. Those were just some screenshots I was just showing just to show that that the white Masons and Shriners practice Islam in secret.
Just to show. Right. And see, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was like, I could have edited, popped none of those out where it would have just been,
Yes, sir.
The things. Hold on a second. Yeah, I could have did that, but okay, we'll just keep them in there. Because this already getting later anyway, so. But yeah, that's just one of them right there, and then pretty much I got all of them.
Okay.
So I don't know which ones you want to go with first, but
we may not even get to any of them.
I mean, and at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to see if I can find like 1 or 2, because if anything, again, just to show the face or. Like if you want to make it a point or something, and like those articles, say for instance, when Elijah Muhammad put the challenge to, jumping off.
And like I said, the slides we can get to. I'm more interested in the dialogue. I'm not a big slide presenter. I got, if we need to pull up some, that's why I sent you some.
Right. Yeah, that's all I was saying. The really just started dialogue, and at the end of the day, if you need to pull one up, just let me know and I can pull it up, that's DV or whatever. So
sounds like a plan.
That's really cool. Like, yeah. All right, so yes, sir. So pretty much you ready to start, brother?
I'm ready, brother. I've been looking forward to this.
Alrighty. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, we jumped off like about 30 minutes already. Trying to get my mic straight. All right, let me go ahead and start it. 1, 3, 2. Four, and 3, 2, 1. And Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Peace to the earth and all the righteous families of the planet. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Fahim.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we just for the greeting words of peace. We said in the Arabic language, greeting everyone. And I wanted to get my brother on here to give a bail. To get some understanding, get some straightening, as they say.
Yes, sir.
I watched a video that you did about a week or so ago with Baraka Day on the Moorish Science Channel. And, I seen how you brothers were pretty much dialoguing about Master Muhammad and, his place of origin, his birthplace, some of the places he might have went to or been to. I think the brothers were basically drawing a lot of comparisons as the Moorish Science Temple. The Moorish Science Temple, we had the red star crescent with the white background, and the Nation of Islam, they switched it around and made a white star crescent with a red background, and I noticed the brother was drawing a lot of similarities to
Right.
What Master Muhammad did in the early part of the Nation of Islam versus, what they were doing at that time. I just wanted to bring you on because I noticed that when you were up there with the brothers, you was trying to speak and the brothers were off and, which is very disrespectful. So I said, I'm going to at least allow you platform to, just turn off, with some of the stuff that you had to say, so that the people can get a clear understanding of what the dialogue was, basically for, intended for.
Well,
so, yes, sir. I'd like to greet you with the great words of peace. I'd like to say assalamu alaikum.
Again, wa alaikum salam. Brother Fahim,
tell us a little bit about yourself, brother, just for the people who don't know.
Sure. Again, brother, I'm very honored and humbled that you felt that way about what you saw. We will use the word there was a dialogue going on. We'll use that word very loosely, that there was a dialogue going on. It was more of a monologue interspersed with a couple of words from me that were cut off before complete sentences were made. But I just wanted to begin in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, thanking him for his coming and thanking him for raising his last and surely his greatest messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I will be 63 years of age in a couple of weeks in March. I'm not going to give out the exact date because that's part of your identity profile. But I came into Islam in approximately 1987, 1988. I don't have an exact date, but it was approximately in that time frame that I met one of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's ministers, who was personally appointed by the messenger, Minister David Bacha, who was the minister of Temple Number 5 in Cincinnati. Other prominent brother who was a student under Minister Bacha during the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's presence among us was Dr. Alim Muhammad, who at that time was Brother Maurice and was a member of Temple Number 5. And Minister Bacha was also a lawyer. He was also the Assistant Attorney General in the state of Ohio, and he just gave me the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was always impressed by his demeanor, his handling of all types of people, his ability to have conversations, whether the man was in the mud or was at the top of the boardroom, whether they were black, white, red, yellow, brown, Hindu, Christian, Orthodox, Muslim. He was able to have a conversation with all of them. So it was just very fascinating watching him. And I knew there was something different. And one day he said to me, we were talking about somebody we had just had a meeting with, and he said, "Oh, that devil. Sometimes they just be he made a mistake. The devil made a mistake that time." And he wasn't saying it mean or malicious, but I said, "The devil? You mean George?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "George is the devil." He said, "Yeah, George is the devil." And I said, "Yeah, that's right. The white man is the devil. Yaqub's, right? Yaqub's grafted devil, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I remember that. Because back when I was growing up in Orange, New Jersey, that was one of the nicknames we had for white people. Now, we didn't know why we were saying that nickname. We used to call them Yaqub's. And that was because of the influence at that time of the nation in that area. Also because of the influence at that time because of the nation of gods and earth and the 5% nation. Now, at the time in 1975, I was 13 years old. But enough of that got in. I do remember, I never went to the temple. I never went to the under the messenger. Never went to a mosque or a temple post 1975. But I remember Minister Farrakhan on WNJR in Newark. I remember the Messenger's broadcast on WNJR. I remember seeing the Muhammad Speaks in in the barbershops that I went to. So the Muslim influence was strong. And when Minister Bacha said that, it recanted something from my childhood. And I said, yeah, the white man is the devil. And from that time on, I couldn't stop asking him enough questions. He gave me access to his books. He gave me access to his tapes. And it developed into a lifelong mentor-mentee relationship until he passed away, and approximately he passed away in 2002. Even up until the time, and around about 1989, 1990, 1991, me as an eager young Muslim, I said, "Well, Brother Minister, where can I get more of this?" And he said, he shared with me all of the different students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad who were doing active ministry. Be it Imam Wharf Dean Muhammad, be it Silas Muhammad. He even told me about the Son of Man down there in Mississippi. He even mentioned Royal, the truck driver in Kansas City. And then he also mentioned Minister Farrakhan. He said, now, I got a caveat. I'm not looking at none of these niggas under a microscope. So I'm just saying, if you want to get more, it seems that Minister Farrakhan is sticking closest to what the boss taught. So if you want to get some more, go check him out. He said,
what year that was?
That was approximately 89, late 89, early 90, somewhere around that time. He said, he appears to be sticking closest to what the boss taught. The old soldiers of the messenger, the old laborers called the messenger the boss. The boss said this, the boss said that. I don't know, you better check with the boss. Can we do that? I don't know, what did the boss say? The old laborers called the messenger the boss. But he said, even though it looks like he's sticking what the boss said, be careful. Because when I was in Islam and Wallace made his move, them N-words wanted to kill me. He said, he's got an ego problem. If he starts to include himself in the teachings, run from him. And I never forgot that. So I sought out the Nation of Islam under Minister Farrakhan's leadership in Montgomery, Alabama. I actually started the temple down there. Me and another brother named Fahim, ironically, from New York, Brother Gregory. We started selling Final Call newspapers on the corner of Rosa Parks and Fairview Avenue in Montgomery, Alabama, right in front of the Church's Chicken. I used to come on the radio every day, giving the life-saving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm going to fast forward because this is a long story. So I actually got on forums officially in 1991.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's when you became registered.
That's when I officially became registered, although I started following the teachings of the messenger in 88. It didn't take me no time to stop eating pork.
Right.
It didn't take me no time to read Message to the Black Man and know that there is no mystery God. And a lot of it started clicking because I went to an all-white private school in New Jersey with very exclusive clientele at that time. I had a graduating class of 88, and there were 2 black people in there. I was one of them. We studied Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. We read about Patrice Lumumba. We read about the different revolutionary African leaders all around the world and in the country. We studied Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture. This is in a white school, brother. So when I started reading the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it didn't take me long to say, you know what? This fits in with everything that I've been learning in this white man's school. So I accepted very quickly. But around about 1995, late 95, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was going to ask you real quick. While you're talking, you don't hear any delaying or anything while you're speaking?
I'm not hearing a delay. I'm not hearing delay. I hear a slight little bit of distortion when you talk, but I don't hear any delay when I talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because while you were talking this a little while ago, especially towards the end, it was like freezing, and it would, you would start back and it would freeze, and I'm just thinking in my mind, oh man, I hope this doesn't, mess up the footage. But if you don't hear it, then I guess it might be any good without,
Hopefully it's not. Yeah, I'm definitely not hearing it on my end. But to make a long story short, after being the secretary of the temple, being the minister of the temple, starting the temple from scratch in Montgomery, Alabama, prior to 1990, there was nothing going on in Montgomery, Alabama. I ran across Minister Van Muhammad, who happened to come down from Atlanta to do a speech, and we hooked up at that time with some other brothers and sisters, and we started going up to Atlanta from Montgomery once or twice a month until we got our X's. And then I eventually became the secretary, then the minister, and then around about 1995, late spring, early summer of 1995, when I realized the march was going to take place, and I knew that was a civil rights tactic that would not have any long-term effect. We don't do outdoor meetings anyway. I said, you know what? Here's my chance to step away, and step away quietly, because everybody is consumed with the hoopla of this march that looks like it's actually going to take place. And that's when but I never left Islam. And I continue to work with other believers and ministers who were followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, though not on a large national basis as Minister Farrakhan had become.
Right. But you said you're 63, so you got me about 10 years.
All praise to God.
When I first got knowledge of self, I was already in my early 20s, like 20, 21 years old, when I first got the knowledge, like a lot of times, just think back to, the brothers in the conscious community, different groups that are in the conscious community. I wish these messages start popping up on my screen. Whenever somebody text or whatever pops up on there. But what I've noticed is that, we're moving into the age now where you got to go deeper than just, saying the scientists took high explosives and shoved it into the earth and blew away the moon, or teaching about the mother plane, or just teaching about some of the high sciences that we have. And I know a lot of other groups, they ridicule and mock those teachings. But I think as we go on, as we move on into the future, we see that with mainstream science, a lot of what the white man is showing and proving today is bearing witness to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said back then about a lot of those things that we would look at as something far-fetched. When they're bringing that reality to you today and showing you some of the things that he can do. The messenger always says that he's 1/3 of the original man about brain power. So if he can do what he's doing, just imagine what the original man can do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like it's just like our lessons say. Mathematics is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, and it stands true. You can always prove it. at no limit of time. Now, the problem is our people put a time limit on it. If you can't prove it right this second, well, it can't be true. That is complete silliness. But as we've seen, Messenger Elijah Muhammad has proven his teachings. They stand true and have been proven at no limit of time. Mother plane in the 1930s or 40s, who would have believed that? But now you have a documentary called The Age of Disclosure, where the highest scientists, military scientists, pilots, trained radar technicians have seen objects that they can't explain. And you know what they say? They say these objects are from another nation. And they say, well, what nation are they from? Are they from China? No, they're not from China. Are they from Russia? No, they're not from Russia. Well, what nation are they from? They never say what nation they're from, but they always mention all these major nations and say, no, they're not from there. You got to read real close between what he says. He will tell you the truth, but he won't just give it to you straight so that you'll just wake up. And of course, if you're not, if your third, as they say, if your third eye ain't open, you won't see it anyway. And if you got some predisposition to not like the messenger, Allah will definitely not let you see it. So I used to get really upset with people who ridicule the messenger's teaching. But I just say, oh, well, that's what it says right here in the Holy Quran about them. Allah has placed a seal over their hearts and minds. They hear not, nor do they understand. So it doesn't bother me as much as it once did in my younger days. That's why you saw me in the interview. I was kind of sitting there smiling and smirking in the interview.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was going to say, at the end of the day, we have to remember, and I remember one of the guys we never building on this one time, with a book they do. We're the believers. It's the reason why we're called believers. Some of the knowledge that this world is learning right now breaks down as the science is getting clearer and more deeper. I'm being more heavier. What I mean by that, I mean like how pulling off into the universe, the white man has these, telescopes, and he can look back into the universe, and he sees galaxies and stuff way back in the beginning of when he says the Big Bang originated in the universe.
Yes.
But yet he sees galaxies that are just 200 million years old right after the Big Bang. So it's like we're laws of physics and science kind of breaks down at that point, because how do you explain that? You're observing it, so you see it. It's a reality. How do you explain it? With his current system of physics and mathematics, he doesn't even, he can't explain that.
Well,
so that's just an example of how we're believers. We have to believe. You see it and believing. Oh, wow, it exists, but it can't be explained.
One of the reasons that it can't be thoroughly explained is when Musa was sent to the caves and hillsides to teach them the forgotten technology, he only brought one book of mathematics for them. There are 59,999 other books of higher mathematics that this present civilization has not been given, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, how do you prove that? What library is that in? Well, it's not in a library. I'm not a librarian. I'm not a Dewey Decimal System scientist. If it was in a library, then that means that some other person put it there. Therefore, it couldn't be God knowledge. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us is God knowledge. Even to our planet Earth and our moon, the deportation of the moon. He said a scientist exploded it with high explosives, TNT, dynamite, 70% more explosive, 30% more explosive than the present dynamite. People say, oh, that's ridiculous. Then you go to the people who went on the moon landing, and I showed a picture of this on my Facebook page. That's probably a slide I should have sent you. And they said that the dust that was on their spacesuits smelled like spent gunpowder. Well, that's the messenger's teachings being proven at no limit of time. Spent gunpowder means that some gunpowder was set off, and now it smells like, after you shoot a gun or after you shoot a firecracker, That's what they smelled on there from the moon dust and the moon rocks. And the messenger said, it's a once dead piece of our planet. But of course, what library was this in? What library was this in prior to the white man traversing that 250,000 mile trip to verify that I could put a slide on it and prove it to somebody? Like you said, we are believers. But in no limit of time, Allah slowly reveals and backs up what his messenger teaches. He don't give it to us all at once. If he gave it to us all at once, we wouldn't read it and look at it anyway. It's only for the select few who are prayerful and steadfast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There are portions within the teachings that are there that you can use current laws of science and mathematics today and
Yes.
break down those teachings, make them, make the knowledge more, to the people. With that, I wanted to talk about, Master Muhammad. Now, when I listened to the conversation with you and Brother Taharka, and not just, Taharka, I know these aren't, his sentiments only, but a lot of people share these sentiments and say, okay, well, that's Muhammad is the Lord, he was the God. Why did he have to come and use what we were doing? We were using the standard person, why did he have to use the standard person? Norbert Urali stood on the square, why did he have to come and stand on the square? He was the feds, why did he have to come with the feds? What a lot of brothers don't understand, and this is just my, the way I see it. In the universe, there's really, and what physicists are finding out now, in the universe and mainstream science, is that there's really no such thing as empty space in our universe. In every region of our universe, even the darkest regions of space, there's waves and particles that you can't see, that may not be detected with the physical eye. They're there. There's weakly interactive massive particles that pop in and out of existence everywhere we live in the universe. So likewise, when Master Prophet Muhammad comes to America, and he wants to bring forth a teaching, well, in the darkness of space, there's never empty matter. There's always stuff that we use, the material to be used to create. So he had to learn us. He had to learn what do we like? What are some of the things that attract them? What are they into? What are they, So naturally, and I remember Mr. Farrakhan teacher on that one time, he was sent to us because he came from both races, black and white, because he was sent to judge both races, to study and judge both races, bring them justice. So that's what he did. He came to the wilderness of North America and he studied the Caucasian man. But then he had to study the black man. And the ones who had some sort of knowledge, who were Prince Hall Masons, or whether they were Marcus Garvey's UNIA movement, or Reverend Jubilee's Royal Science Temple of America, he kind of looked at all these different groups and, grabbed every little piece of what they were doing so that he could craft the theology with a teaching now to give us. Not that, this is where they make a mistake. They think that because he did that, he stole from them. But he did that just so he can give us something that we would be more familiar with, that he can express his ideas or his teaching.
Well, if we were to use that, if we were to use that twisted logic that you described, it's not your logic. I'm saying that's a common logic out there.
Right.
We would say that he stole from the church because he set up chairs and he had a preacher in the front. We would say he stole from the Masons because he had the believers wear dark suits with a thin tie. I mean, what are we talking about here? He not only studied the black man and the white man, he studied every people on the planet. He even studied the birds and the animals. Master Muhammad teaches us that he studied and learned the language of the birds. And then he says the Savior wrote 16 languages and could speak 10 of them. Now, if one of the languages, people think, oh, that's Spanish, Italian, Latin, French. Wait a minute, are those different languages? Those might be the same language. One of the languages was the language of the birds. And the messenger said, I wonder when he's going to teach me the language of the birds. So those 16 languages, we ignorantly think that he's talking about different tongues and dialect. Oh, Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic. Are those different languages? I don't know. But I know one of the languages was the language of the birds. So, I mean, if we restrict what God is able to use in a universe, in a material universe, now we know the messenger said he's capable of destroying this universe and creating an entirely new one. But if he's going to use the material universe to get to people who are products of that material universe, then of course he uses the things that people are most familiar with, whether it be church, whether it be more science, whether it be the Masonics, whatever it may be, he uses that to attract them. Now, if you want to call that stealing, I don't know what to tell you. I don't call it stealing. I call it common sense.
Right. I mean, and I don't call it stealing because at the end of the day, it belongs to us anyway. It belongs to the original man, God anyway. But
I mean,
that's first and foremost.
Did Noble Drew Ali steal from the Moors who ruled Spain from 700 AD to 1400 AD? I mean, did he steal that? Did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad steal from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? I mean, what are we talking about here? We use the predecessors that went before us to work on the people, the object of our attack, if you will, today. And he used a strategy to get to us. As you pointed out, by studying us. And the messenger said to Noble Drew Ali's followers and to Marcus Garvey's followers that you should not hesitate to join on with me. He said to the Black Masons, the first 3 degrees of your masonry are the keys to your slavery. And the Masons whom he taught said, our Grand Master, he never taught us nothing like this. We want you to come back. And you know who didn't want him to come back? It was always the leadership that didn't want the messenger to come back. Whether it was the Grand Master, the head sheikh, the mufti, they didn't want because the messenger was teaching the people something that had never been heard before, because it was God-based knowledge. Nobody had ever seen this. The day of the knowledge of prophets is over. We are into the knowledge of God. He brings a whole new language, a whole new teaching, but he gives it to us in a way that we can easily accept it, easily digest it. So he uses what we're already involved in. I don't call that stealing. And if you look at the differences, I mean, the differences are far more greater than the similarities. I still can't get anybody in the Moorish Science Temple to give me what the prophet taught, other than the Holy Quran Circle 7. Okay, I want to know more. I mean, I've got the teachings of Marcus Garvey. I've got the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. I've got the speeches of Marcus Garvey. I've got a Holy Quran Circle 7. I'm not an ignorant brother. What did the prophet teach? And it turns out they can never point you to nothing except for a couple of little thin pamphlets. I got a whole bookshelf of books from the messenger and other books. Okay, well, that tells me that, no, you're making up your own teachings in the prophet's name. Everything a follower of the messenger says, can be backed up somewhere in what the messenger has left for us. Everything.
Right.
But how do we know you're teaching the prophet's teaching?
That's funny that you. Right. I was gonna say that's funny you mentioned that, because it's like the 5%ers in the nation of gods and others. I kind of see in that same light how you just described the miracles, like very little teachings and videos and stuff that we can look today or see or read today from Noble Drew Ali. Likewise, in the 5% nation of gods and others, there's very little stuff you can put today with that Allah, Connor 13X. Visual footage of him, or lectures that he may have given on cassettes or audio tapes, or but in the nation of Islam, the UNIA with Marcus Garvey, there's tons.
Yes.
When the UNIA was before Noble Drew Ali.
It was before Noble Drew Ali and before the.
They used the excuse, well, it was far back in time and they were up in the mechanics and stuff, but there's tons of stuff that Marcus Garvey. We gonna have tons of stuff with Noble Drew Ali and so that's I always think about that.
And let me give some serious big ups and big shout outs to whatever you want to term it, the nation of gods and earth, the 5% nation. I've learned this in my maturity. Were it not for the nation of gods and earth, the 5% nation, in 1975, when Wallace D. Muhammad took over the Nation of Islam, and I put that in quotes, within 6 months, he told them, throw away all that stuff. Within 6 months, him and his national representative told the believers to throw away the FOI uniform, throw away the MGT uniform. They took the chairs out, throw away the supreme wisdom, throw away all the books of the messenger, burn those supreme wisdom. That's not supreme wisdom. Then he told them to throw away and came out with his own supreme wisdom. Were it not for the followers of Clarence 13X, they call him the Father Allah, were it not for them, and history bears this out, they kept the lessons. Because not only did they keep them, they committed them to memory. Because a man can make you throw away a piece of paper or burn a piece of paper, but he can't erase something from the greatest computer that has ever been built. And it were it not for those, they kept those brothers and sisters kept those lessons, kept them in the hearts and minds, and kept them alive. That is the history. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a damn what leader you say you are. The nation, the gods, the earth, the 5%ers kept the messenger's lessons alive. And we have a debt to owe them because Wallace and his national representative told everybody to throw them away. And they did. So I want to give that big shout out to the 5%ers, the 5% nation, and the nations of gods and earths. Do we have our differences? Do we have our differences? Of course. We got our differences, of course, but
I was just saying, right. Yeah, I was just saying the 5% nation of Islam actually, were like the custodians, if you will, that kept a lot of those lessons and stuff,
yes,
preserved.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, there were certain factions of brothers that left the mosque, because not everybody agreed with Wallace, his stance on Islam and the Orthodox way of teaching and the, worshiping the mystery God. Not a lot of people, followed him in that way, but the majority of the ones who did, yeah, they pretty much took those lessons and thrown them somewhere, and
yeah, I mean there were pockets of rank and file believers who kept the lessons, but they weren't out there. They weren't teaching any new people the lessons. They may have shared it with their family.
No, they weren't out teaching.
Yeah, they weren't out there. The gods, they were out there actively teaching.
They were in like small little study groups and stuff. They taught it and kept it alive. But the 5% were out there in the streets, teaching it and
spreading it.
I just want to say the nation of gods and earths. When you say that was like later on.
That was later. Okay.
It had to be left up to the nation of gods and earths. A lot of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad have been, thrown to the side. The lessons are still there. They still put the lessons, but the teaching and the understanding that the messenger gave to those lessons, likewise, just like the Sunni Orthodox Muslims who followed W.D. Muhammad, who learned the lessons when they left the mosque.
Yes.
A lot of those brothers, when Clarence 13X left the mosque and went back onto the streets, a lot of them took the understanding of the messenger, those lessons that he gave, and threw that understanding away. Just kept threatening, but threw that understanding away. So yeah, that's something that also, should be definitely, noted in history. What I mean? I would say the brothers like the 5% nation of Islam, or what we would say the Muslim brothers, those are the ones who, like myself, who are the real 5%ers, and we respect our Clarence 13X, we respect that God, but at the end of the day, we know that you have to go to Elijah Muhammad. That's the understanding that we should be taking on in order to get a clear picture of what these lessons are saying that we should be doing in this day and time. You know what I'm saying? Well,
that's an education that you gave me.
Go to the mosque. You don't have to go to the mosque. We're 5%. But at the end of the day, what the messenger said, we should keep that holding that dear to us. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you have more of what the messenger taught than you do of what Brother Clarence next taught us.
Well, that was an education that you gave me that I did not know.
That's just my opinion on it.
That's an education that you gave me that I did not know about the history of the 5% nation of gods and the nation of gods on earth. Either way, we owe a debt to them.
There's different factions. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that there's different groups or different sects of 5%ers. So yeah, I just always try to point that out.
But I will say this, after giving them much props, I will say that in my humble opinion, the mistake many of them have made, and I don't know which ones and which sects believe what, but those lessons that you have are the lessons for memory. But those are not the only lessons. I submit to you that every word out of the mouth and pen of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is in fact a lesson. Those are the ones that we are to commit to memory. Actual facts, student enrollment, rules of Islam, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, English lesson C1, and the problem book. Those are what we commit to memory, but those ain't the only lessons. You have to continue to have clarity and illumination to those lessons. And that comes through the one that God revealed the lessons to, his representative amongst us. So yeah, you share, we had that conversation offline when you and I first had our first dialogue, and I was like, wow, I had no idea. I've been in the South for over 40 years. I'm originally from Orange, New Jersey, but I've been in the South for well over 40 years. So of course, there's not as big of a community of 5%ers or Nation of Gods on Earth or Morris Science Temple or anything like that as there is in the Northeast and in the northern Midwest.
Right. There wasn't a lot of 5%ers in your where you were not in Jersey, but when you came to the South.
No, definitely not in the South. And the ones you do run into the South are generally transplants, recent transplants. There's not a large community. They're not having large parliaments or anything like that in the South. Not that I'm aware of. Not in Charlotte.
Right. With Master Muhammad, back on him real quick, and that's another thing too. Like some 5%ers or a lot of 5%ers, especially the Nation of Gods and Earth, they don't. Believe the understanding of the teachings that the messenger gave us about Master Muhammad, like he was born in Mecca, Arabia, and what I'm saying, he came over here to North America, 1910, he began studying, and so on and so forth. He mingled and mixed with a lot of groups or organizations, but he never registered or became a member of those organizations. A lot of them, they don't follow in that teaching. You know what I'm saying? Some of them go with Mr. Guthrie, he's been teaching about, he's from India, or he's from Portland, Oregon. He's from Texas. There was one state, city in Texas they named, or whatever, they said he was from, I forget the brother's name. He's just a Sunni Muslim brother.
New Zealand.
Back with that now. New Zealand, that's it. New Zealand. No, you mentioned the place in Texas too. It was another brother that actually said a place in Texas.
Texas. Okay.
Yeah, in Texas. Yes, he was born in Texas. He was American.
Anything but what the messenger said.
It's crazy. But what the messenger said, right? Let's get back into that. Like, as far as the pictures that the brother was showing you, that he put up. Of the messenger, which is the authentic one? The one from all in the Quran?
Yeah, that is the authentic one. That is the one that we know was authenticated by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Now, he did say in several interviews that he had plenty of pictures of the Savior. Now, I don't know of the existence of those, whether they have been. I've never seen them in any of the research that I've done. People may have them. I can't authenticate them. The other one was definitely challenged in Muhammad Speaks by the messenger directly, and he offered a challenge to William Randolph Hearst, who originally ran that in his Los Angeles Herald Examiner, saying that he was a dope peddler and was in prison in San Quentin. Well, that person was a completely different person. Wally Ford, whatever his name was. I don't know what his name was. The messenger said he's a phony. And it stayed that way. That I think that Muhammad Speaks came out in 1960 or was it 63? And that challenge to prove that it was him of $100,000 was never taken up by anybody. I don't know who this Hazel is that they're talking about.
Right.
I don't know who that. It was never taken up by anybody.
Right.
And it stood that way. No one said nothing.
Right.
No one said nothing until Asaid al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, better known as Dr. York, brought that same lie up again in the early 90s, where he said that argument had been put to bed until he brought it up again. Where were the Moors then who were bringing up this argument?
Right.
You would have got your teeth knocked out of the back of your head for saying that prior to 1975. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that today.
I was saying too about the five. Right, that's the thing I was just saying too about the 5%ers. A lot of 5%ers back there in the late 80s, early 90s, because of Imam Isa,
Yep.
Dr. York, they started to take on that teaching.
They took on that teaching.
Assigned Master Muhammad as, he was in San Quentin, he was in the
Yes.
when Tazaria, not Tazaria, but Taharka, when he brought that information out from the FBI, then the FBI finds itself and says that this, at the end of their research, they said it was inconclusive.
Yes.
The match was inconclusive.
The match was inconclusive.
This Hazel Barton, or whatever her name is, she was married to Ford.
Yeah, the one who was in prison in San Quentin.
Who was in San Quentin. Not Fard, not Master Fard Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Elijah Muhammad was trying to point out to them back then. And the reason why he was willing to put red like that, because he was like, that's not a match. You know what I'm saying? So that part right there is this theme that I don't know why a lot of people sometimes swim over that. Really, the FBI admitted themselves that it's not a match. It's inconclusive. But they kept it going to use it as a smear campaign, because they said, a lot of these Negroes, they don't read anyway, so they're going to go with him. That's Wallace Ford. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are going to go with that anyway.
Yeah, to them, Farad, Ford. Hey, that's the same person. Farad and Ford, same name. No, it's not. But to us, we don't know.
Right.
But do you know who put an end to that Imam Isa campaign back in the early 90s? Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad took and paid him a visit, and in so many words said, "Yo, man, what's up? Nah, son, you have to chill with that, or there's gonna be problems." And that's why he issued the retraction and the apology. Remember that? Do you remember when Dr. York published a retraction and an apology? That was after Khalid paid him a visit.
I heard about that.
Uh-huh. So to pick up that argument yet again, it's like, how many times do we have to deal with this? Just because you put up a picture, that means it's true. I clipped a picture from a newspaper. That's scholarship.
The flat earthers, flat earthers who just watch a video and say, look, they think they're doing physics now.
You're doing advanced physics and mathematics.
Same thing. Brothers watch a picture or a video with some scholar or wannabe scholar or whatever the case may be, and they run with the narrative. It's just sad. I think we got to get better at our research, because that lie should have been put to bed, as you said, long time ago.
You would think it would, but I mean, in my opinion, there is an agenda. People are sensing a vacuum in the quote-unquote leadership of the Nation of Islam. And like it or not, Minister Farrakhan was at the forefront of the Black conscious movement in the late 80s and early 90s. Even so much as to even so much as to book sales and sales of African art and all. He was at the forefront of it. He actually, because of the power of his personality and his movement, he accelerated those industries in the early. But now, as an elderly man, he doesn't command that same personality and that same push and pull on the people. So now people are saying, yeah, here's my chance to throw my hat in the ring. And all I got to do is kill this notion of Elijah meeting with a God. So they pull up the same old dirty tricks that the FBI used. And it's funny how I said FBI, and then somebody said, well, it wasn't the FBI, it was the Detroit police. Same difference. It's the same thing. COINTELPRO used every law enforcement agency.
If you understand the operation that was taking place at that time, it's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
I think, right, what is it, Bossy or something like that, with the police in New York.
Gene Boss. Gene Boss, who was a member of Malcolm Security, was a member of the New York City Police Department. He was placed on there by the joint FBI New York City Police Task Force of the Counterintelligence Program. And he gave mouth to mouth to Malcolm after Malcolm got shot in the lungs, which is the last thing you're supposed to do when somebody is shot in the lungs, is give him mouth to mouth.
Right.
And Gene Boss knew that.
Right.
And I just read today that the two brothers who were accused of the murder have been awarded $36 million. The ones who were wrongfully convicted, I just saw it in my Facebook feed today. They were awarded $36 million for the wrongful conviction. So wait a minute. By the state of New York.
Oh, wow.
So wait a minute. Those two brothers who were allegedly members of the Nation of Islam, who allegedly killed Malcolm X, but then a few years ago were exonerated, didn't kill Malcolm X. So who did? Not the Nation of Islam. You just said that them two brothers didn't kill him. But as you've said, the job is done, and the doubt has been placed in our people where they're not going to trust the Muslims. So they've always been working to stop the rise of a black Messiah. They've always been working to do that. And they use every trick in their book to do that, the same way they destabilize nations around the earth. They, unlike us, brother, the Caucasian people consider us a nation. They know we're a nation within a nation, but they don't ever want us to rise to that point and leave them, because it will be the end of their nation. Their nation thrives on slave labor. And although we're not unpaid chattel slaves, we are low-paid labor for the growth of this nation.
Yes, sir.
So let us deal wisely with them, lest they join on to a foreign power and come against us. That was in the mind of Pharaoh when he saw the rise of the children of Israel. The children of Israel, brother, as you already know, is nothing but you and I here in the wilderness and hills of North America. It's us. And they will do everything they can to keep us from uniting with our original foreign power, which is the Nation of Islam. The nation. And what's behind me is the flag of Islam. I was on another program where more tried to tell me, what's your nationality? I said, Islam. Islam is not your nationality. Who the hell are you talking to? Nation of Islam, Nation of Islam, but it's not my nationality. Flag of Islam, but it's not my nationality. Hey, if that's what your prophet taught you, okay.
Yeah, I seen a program where I think Tamarka, he was like, yeah, come on. It's not nation either. It was not nation.
Say that again, brother. You broke up. I apologize. You broke up.
No, he was that he was putting up documents, and he was like, yeah, people talking about a nation of Islam, The Nation of Islam was only Elijah Muhammad and his family. It was like, it wasn't a nation, it was just, Elijah Muhammad. That's not nation when it's just you and your family.
He actually said that.
One of the last videos I think I seen. Yeah, this was like, I seen this maybe a few days ago, maybe, that he did. What else he said? He said like a bunch of things. And that was one of the reasons why I said, I just wanted to basically have this dialogue because, again, it's like, even with the teachings, like you just mentioned a little while ago, the teachings were completely different from what Jawadi and Marcus Garvey was teaching. Again, paraphernalia, the systems that they used, or some of the writings that they may have used, and like Marcus Garvey had message to the people. Elijah Muhammad had message to the black man. Like I said, the Spartan Crescent, the example of that. Remember, Jawadi had the Spartan Crescent, white background with a red thing. We had the opposite. But the thing that they're not, that I think that they're missing is that there was a growth. There was a level of growth as far as the science. Because during the early 30s, the early part of the 40s, late 30s, early part of the 40s, the messenger said, and I think you might have read, I don't know if you've read this quote before, the messenger said he would get invited to World Science Temple and
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
He said they thought he was speaking some ancient Egyptian. Yeah, he was speaking some ancient Egyptian teachings that was just like they didn't understand. So you would have to ask yourself, if he stole all of this stuff from you guys, why was the teaching so vastly different from each other? Like we're teaching like a black man is God, and my nationality is the universe.
Yes.
Difference. We're saying that we're black people, but not from the law status or anything like that. Because I agree with the lawyers with that. Yeah, black means black. That's not even talk to the law. The message is not giving them that. He's been teaching them a whole other scientific meaning of what a black body is. That is the essence of all things. So
it even goes into more science than that.
The messenger or not to use, but I think over the teams, there was a proves that it was something totally different. That's so bad.
Well, it even goes into more than just black. I mean, when the messenger was talking about black, he was talking about he was giving a word to what even scientists didn't even know how to describe at that time, which was the darkness and void of space. Now they call it dark matter. Now they call it all types of things. This is the messenger saying this in 1930 when the Caucasian people, they had no knowledge of dark matter. He said the darkness, the black of space. Niggas are thinking of a crayon in a Crayola box. Whenever you call that void of the darkness of space, that's the black. And the Holy Quran mentions those stages of darkness. He's talking about very high science. Now, of course, we scoff at that. The Caucasian people did not. And they have expanded that to this very day. Matter of fact, the Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, he didn't just come and teach us. He came and interacted with all the peoples all over the earth. He came and was in and out of America for 20 years before he even began interacting with us in the bottom and hells of North America, in Black Bottom. He came to America and interacted in 1910. He enrolled at the University of California. Why? Because he began to study what they were learning there to see where they were there. Now, people, well, why does he have to? He didn't have to study because he needed to know it. He had to see where this Caucasian was, so he went to their highest center of learning. Because this is his adversary in the final judgment, which is the war of Armageddon. And if he's not a worthy enough adversary, how is he going to prove that he is the champion in the end? So he injected knowledge into them to allow them to build themselves up. And then they stole the messenger's lessons, and that became the basis of guiding them in the right direction to lead them into the atomic age. Oh, brother, I mean, who's going to argue with what I just said? Show me that in the library. I can't. I don't got it in the library. I'm a trained minister of the messenger. When the messenger tells me the Savior enrolled at the University of California, I know that that was the center of higher learning on the West Coast for mathematics and science. Caltech, University of California, all that out there. And the Savior knew that those Caucasian people were ripe for rebellion against their own. The message said they're not all the same. By nature, they're the same. And that area of California, that Northern California area, it became the fulcrum of the white counterculture movement. And guess what newspaper they read on a regular basis? Muhammad Speaks. They wanted to know what Muhammad says. Now, we were saying the white man. What did they say? We said, down with the white man, the white man, the white man. What did they say? They just said, the man. Where'd they get that from?
Man.
They wanted to know what Muhammad was saying. One of my mentors, Minister John Muhammad, who was the minister of Temple number 26 in San Francisco, said they couldn't keep Muhammad Speaks out of the hand of them white students at them college campuses. They wanted it. Our instructions were we don't go and solicit them, but if they ask for it, we give it to them, sell it to them. They would come and running us down, asking. They want to know what Muhammad was saying. They were.
I was going to say, I think one year, the messenger for Muhammad Speaks was the best, most selling paper in America.
Yes.
I forgot what year that was. It was during the 60s. You know, and I forgot what scholar I was listening to, but he was just marveling at the fact that this is a man that came out publicly and called the white man the devil.
Yes.
They called Jews the devil, Satan, and put out a paper and stuff and getting still, even though he was calling the white man the devil to his face, this paper was the best-selling paper in America.
Brother, I'm going to give you a story. I told you and please indulge me. I told you in my introduction that I went to an all-white private school. Some of the people who went to my private school were senators of New Jersey. I went to school with Vincent Price's grandchildren, Senator Robert Del Tufo's grandchildren. I went to the children of McGraw-Hill Incorporated, the children of Piedmont Airways. I went to school with I don't know if you're old enough to remember back up in the north. I don't know if you remember Don Kirshner's rock concert that used to come on NBC late night. Anyway, I hadn't been back to my school in 22 years. I was a big athlete basketball star. The president of my senior graduating class called me up for the 25th high school reunion, said, Tiz, are you coming? They called me. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Tiz. And why do you say that? Because they know that you're not supposed to call a Muslim by their nickname. Now, I hadn't talked to him since high school. How does he know to correct himself and not call me Tiz? He said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry, Brother Ali. I said, Andy, you can call me Tiz, no problem. He said, it won't be the same without you. Brother, I went there, and matter of fact, I wore this bow tie. I wore this very suit and this very bow tie. It's on my Facebook page to my high school graduating. I couldn't keep them people off of me. My high school athletic director and my high school guidance counselor by the name of Bruno and Annette Tomeno, they shook my hand with it. Kevin, so glad to see you. We hear you are doing wonderful things with your religion. How the hell do they know what I'm doing with my religion? I didn't tell them nothing about I didn't send them no updates, no nothing. How did they know what I was doing with my religion? Then this is in 2000 and 2000 and what was my 25th year reunion? 1981 plus 25 is what? 2007? Then my humanities teacher, by a Jewish woman by the name of Betty Newman. Jewish woman. She saw me in my FO. I went in class A just like this. Suit, bow tie, national pin. This Jewish woman had, years ago, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, had challenged me, said, you could do much better. You're not, you need to do better. You're much smarter than this. Your people have a history and you need to learn it. She said, my people have a history and I know it. 25 or 30 years later, when I went to that reunion, I saw that Jewish woman. She looked me up and down. She looked dead at this pen. She said, I guess you learned your people's history. They know. They don't care. They know we call them the devil, but the messenger never went to an individual white man and said, you devil, you devil, you devil. We treat people civilly who treat us civilly.
Right.
We don't holler devil at them. They know. I don't have to call them the devil. They know who they are. My class had a mixer. They invited me into the Kevin. Now over here we have refreshments. Over here we've got some. Now be careful. There's pork in there, but we've got some stuff for you here that has no pork in it. So we're having a discussion, and everybody's asking me questions. Then one comes over. Long story short, he wanted to challenge me about what the Muslims are doing to the Christians in the Middle East. So I said, and he said Muhammad of Arabia was a liar, and he didn't get a revelation. He got a revelation from Allah, not from Allah, but from the devil. So I said, Mac, you're crazy. He said, why am I crazy? I said, he didn't get a revelation from the devil. I said, well, he said, why? I said, because the white man's the devil. I said this in a whole room of 30 or 40 people. They were murmuring, and they could tell we was having a discussion. I said, as soon as I said the white man was the devil, they went like this. They went, and then they went back to what they were saying, like I said nothing. My buddy in high school was a Jewish man, Jewish kid at that time. His wife, they made me stay at their house when I went there. I said, do you know who I am? Do you know what I believe? Brother, we don't have to argue with them about nothing. They already know, and they know the messenger taught us right. It's our own people that we got to fight with the most. I'm sorry to take up so much time with them stories, brother. I just wanted to share things with you and your audience.
That's a fact. That's an actual fact, man. Yeah, we definitely we are moving our cult to like an hour or whatever. I'm just working at this, but being at the little delays and stuff, I'm gonna listen back to it, and hopefully everything is good. If it's not, we'll just have to come back.
Hey, brother, we'll do it again, and I'm capturing it live on my channel as well.
Oh yeah, I know you're right. I can do it all exactly. Yeah, so before we shut it down or whatever, like tell people, just about yourself, and I know you mentioned your businesses and stuff like that, like. Where can people, get in contact with you or locate you,
Well, like I said,
some information on that real quick.
We have a natural body activation patch that activates the body's own natural internal healing system with just natural light, all within the realm of the teachings of the black man. We are children of the light. It reactivates the body's own stem cells. It does phenomenal things for the body. You can reach me about that at area code 218-673-1517. Could also save you hundreds on your monthly cable bill. We got a streaming app that can get you every channel that you can think of, pay-per-views, all the movies, all the TVs, $25 a month. We can even get you a free 24-hour free trial. My wife does search engine optimization. If you got a business, an online presence, you want to get more users, more followers, more likes, more views, turn those eyeballs into customers and sales. My wife, Joetta Ali of K&J Enterprises, she does search engine optimization. These are just some of the things that we are engaged in right now, trying to do for self in this terrible time of the nation's unemployment. Soon, America will not have enough jobs for us. They already don't. They don't have enough jobs for their own people. So reach out to us. It's all natural. We can give you some more information about it. Don't want to take up too much time. Go to my Facebook page to get some more information about that. I am known as R. Kevin Ali across all social medias. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube. R. Kevin Ali. My email address is rkevinali, the number 2, rkevinali, the number 2 at gmail.com. And brother, I've enjoyed myself. And like I said, we probably won't even need them slides this time.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, again, if it's too choppy and stuff, we'll come back and do it again. And well, of course, we'll utilize the slides or whatever. But yeah, I mean, shoot, just the conversation alone really brought a lot of light to what we were trying to touch on. And I think the point was driven home for the most part. Again, at the end of the day, we thrive off of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's understanding.
Yes, sir.
The teachings, what he gave us. That's divine revelation. At the end of the day, divine revelation is not something you can go find in the library. It's revealed word from God Himself. In the person of another human being, nothing spooky.
At least that's what we believe.
Another individual, male or female. Yeah. So yes, sir.
And I would love it if you invite me on. I would love it if you invite me on the big panel with all the other brothers, just to sit in and listen and dialogue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, some of the gods, some of the other Muslim gods, I'm gonna probably bring them on the next time and get you in with some of the ciphers and stuff that we have. And I wanted to touch on the other video that the Imam, Brother Abdul Rahman, had. The video that we did like about a week ago or so with the brothers, and we were just talking about Al-Islam versus Nation of Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's brand of Islam, and just some of the differences and the belief system and stuff like that. So the brother did like several videos, so we'll definitely do more practice like that where I'll just bring some brothers up and we'll just all let the video play and we just give our commentary to it. So definitely I'd like to get you on one of those panels.
I would love to, brother, so let me know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, God. So yeah, let me let you go, man. It was good brother with the brother, and we're gonna definitely get up and do this again, so I leave everybody as we claim in the Greek words of peace, we said in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Peace to the earth. Peace. Yes, sir. Peace.
And thank you, everybody who tuned in to my live. Looks like we got up to 20. We really appreciate it. Again, if you want to get more information about those natural stem cell activation patches, or if you want to get information about the how you can save on this streaming app that can get you all the TV that you ever wanted, all the movies, all the sports packages, all the pay-per-views, give us a call, area code 218-673-1517. You can also reach out to me on my email address, rkevinali@gmail.com. That's rkevinali@gmail.com. Again, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in again on Thursday afternoon, approximately 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be broadcasting live from Muhammad's Temple, number 15, Atlanta, Georgia. You look for the link on my Facebook page, and you can look for the Facebook page of Minister Eric Muhammad. We will be live for our Savior's Day broadcast from Muhammad's Temple number 15 in Atlanta, Georgia. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, come on out and join us on Old National Highway. Again, you can reach out to me and I will give you the address where you can join us at the temple. We will be live there teaching our Savior's Day broadcast. February 26th is the birth of our Lord and Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. Minister Eric Muhammad had a broadcast from Evansville, Indiana on Sunday afternoon for Savior's Day, whole Savior's Day weekend. But we always do a broadcast or a meeting on the birth of the actual Savior's birthday, which is February 26th, and we're doing that again on Thursday. So see everybody on that. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to tune out. Peace. Again, reach out to us if you want more information about the stem cell activation, saving money on your TV and movie packages. Area code 218-673-1517. We say peace. We say assalamu alaikum. Thank you for tuning in.